What do you have?
I made a little sea snail friend, and he's trying to figure out what to do here with my hands.
He's kind of trying to figure out, like, I need to go back in the water.
Put me back in the water, which I will. A lot of people ask us if it's worth it driving out to the Keys, because we don't come to the Keys that often, and a lot of people say, is it worth it making the trip to the Keys? And I actually think my snail friend has some insight on that. Hey, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
two crazy campers. After losing a combined weight of more than 200 pounds.
We realized we had so much more energy for activities.
Come along with us as we explore the great outdoors.
And join us on a brand new adventure.
We're actually on an adventure that I have never been on. So we are right now standing in the water here at, what is it, Little Duck Key.
And we're feeling very ducky.
I have never been to the Keys before. I've lived in Florida for 25 years.
How did you manage that?
We've talked about this in our 5 things video for the campground we're staying at, which is Curry Hammock State Park. Have you ever seen the movie True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
And Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes. You know that scene where they blow up the bridge? Yeah, that's my fear. My fear is we're gonna get stuck down here.
Well, I don't think they're gonna blow up the bridge, and we crossed the bridge just fine.
Here's the thing though, the Keys is a long drive. It's a very long drive. I mean, from where we live in Broward County, it took us 3 hours to get to Marathon, and that's not Key West. That's about halfway to Key West. So today we're gonna talk about, is it worth it to go to the Keys? Not just for camping, but just in general. Like, is it worth it to come down here?
Well, this is reason enough for me to come to the Keys, and that is I'm 20 feet from the shoreline and I've got plenty of water. I can bring out a chair and relax. There's lots of stuff to see. As far as I'm concerned, if you're in Florida and it gets hot here in Florida, as long as you've got some water to go to, it is worth the adventure. So with that being said, I definitely think that before you come down to the Keys, you need to invest in some really good water shoes, because every place that you go to has a different terrain. Sometimes it's really hard and nice sand, and sometimes it like sinks down into gunk and it feels really gross. So you want to have water shoes so you can explore all of the places.
Now, one of the problems with coming to the Keys is you have long stretches of road where it's only one lane in each direction. So there's one road in, there's one road out. You have lots of long bridges like the 7 Mile Bridge. On the bridges, there's one lane on each direction, and there's not even a barricade a lot of times separating you from the other traffic. So if there is an accident or a breakdown or something like that, you could be stuck here for a long time. So when you come down here, make sure you're budgeting your time, because you may say it's only gonna take me 2 hours to get home, and the next thing you know, it's a 5-hour trip. The other thing is, I would definitely recommend filling up your gas tank, and as you go from one key to the other, take a look at your gas tank. If you're like at a half a tank or lower, you definitely wanna top it off. For the most part, gas is not much more expensive down here. I mean, currently we're down here in the middle of February where it's freezing everybody else. But gas here is $2.58 a gallon, and that's pretty much what it is up north in Broward County. But make sure you've got a lot of gas, because you don't want to get someplace, find out you've got 10 miles to the next gas station, and you're gonna run out.
One of the things that I love best about the Keys are how many places there are all along the water that make you think and feel like the Keys belong only to you. Like you are out there by yourself, and it is awesome. A downside about the Keys is you have to be prepared for weather to change in a moment's notice. 1 minute you're gonna have full sun, the next minute you're gonna have stormy rain.
A great thing about the Keys is the water. I mean, this is awesome. So if you wanna go swimming, if you wanna see where you're swimming, this is the place to come in. Now here's the thing, I am a Floridian. I'm a Floridian who works outside, and so I'm used to being 90-degree temperatures. So when I go in the house and it's 76, I'm cold. Of course, Rachel is like, I'm crazy. What that means for me is I don't want to be in cold water. Like, I don't go in our swimming pool from like September until May because the water is too cold. It is February right now. As a Floridian, I am sitting in this water. I don't even know what the temperature is. I'm gonna guess it's about 80 degrees because it's not too cold for me. Like the Florida Springs up north, which are 72 degrees year round, that's too cold for me, but this is super comfortable. So swimming here is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, definitely you've got the hot sun though, combined with the water. So this is a great place to bring a camp chair that you really don't care about, don't mind getting wet, so that you can sit in the water and really enjoy it, because no matter how hot it gets, if I can sit in the water, I'm completely fine. And the water is something that I really love too about the Keys, because this is the perfect place to start snorkeling.
Yes.
You're gonna see a lot of stuff. You know, you're gonna see, I mean, we just saw a bonnethead shark, a little baby one. You can see stingrays and you can see manatees.
Crabs, we just saw a little tiny baby crab walking around.
Somebody this morning just ran into a school of dolphin. So there's a lot of really cool things to see. But sometimes if you're seeing something in very deep water, like if it's your first time coming in contact with a shark and you're in 20-foot water, you might get scared.
And start swimming away?
I mean, you'd be really scared if you were a little kid. But here, if you see something like a barracuda that maybe freaks you out for a moment, you can stand up and walk away and go to another place and be fine. So I think it's a really great onboarding place for snorkeling.
And what's great about it is the beaches are very shallow. So for example, we're currently about 25, 30 feet off the shore of Curry Hammock State Park, and I am sitting in the water. I'm sitting, and the water is just at my belly button. I mean, Rachel is like kind of sitting on her heels. I mean, and this is awesome. And you can keep going out. We can go out another 20 feet, and the water is still only gonna be about chest high. And then a little bit further out, where you see that kayak out in the background, there's a sandbar out there where you're back to ankle deep water. So you don't even have to worry so much, like if you have little kids and stuff like that, that they're going to all of a sudden get to a drop off point where the water is 10, 15, 20 feet deep. It's like a splash pool, but 40 feet out off the shore.
And it's great for rafts and such because you're not having like that waves at the shoreline experience that you normally have when you're going to the beach. I mean, the tide goes in and out, but it's not as rough. So it's better for people who are not the best swimmers in the world.
Here's another problem with coming to the Keys that some people may think it's not worth it. And that is, you have long stretches where there's no restrooms and, you know, things like that. We talked about that, but also every key has a little tiny area where there's some shops, like, you know, a place to go get some groceries or some gas. So there's not a whole lot of shopping to do here. So I would definitely make sure you're bringing stuff with you because you're kind of like out in the middle of nowhere. So one thing we're quickly learning, the roads in Key West are definitely not made for like 3/4 and full ton trucks. I mean, these roads are tight and narrow, and yeah, you have to be really close attention to what you're doing.
I don't think that people associate the Keys with mosquitoes like they should. There's a lot of ocean, yes, and a lot of breeze, which is great, but there are a lot of wooded areas, and that means mosquitoes.
Yeah, if you come here and it's not windy, there's lots of mosquitoes. I mean, we were here on the first day, 25-mile-an-hour winds. You could sit outside, no issues. You could sit on the beach. You get sunburnt, but you're not gonna get any mosquitoes. Now today, there's hardly any breeze, and so just standing outside for a couple minutes, all of a sudden you've got things biting you. So make sure you get a really good mosquito repellent. We're actually gonna put a link for the one we like down below.
Something else I love about the Keys as a mom is how many shallow areas there are that you can just bring young children to and set up for a day at the beach without worrying about the tide rolling in too strong or feeling like there's no place for them and you're gonna have to be freaked out the entire time. These areas are great for just putting out a chair and relaxing if you're by yourself, or for bringing the pail and the shovel and just letting the kids have a great day chasing the crabs and playing with the minnows. So the Keys are awesome because there's basically no end to the ways in which you can get your daily movement goals in. There is kayaking and canoeing, and there's wakeboarding and paddle boating, and I mean just all kinds of things that you can do to get out in the cool, crisp waters, but also get your health goals in.
Now, one thing about coming to the Keys, you are surrounded by water, and the sun is like pretty brutal. I mean, we weren't out in the sun very long, and I mean, this will turn tan for me tomorrow.
Not me.
If you're not used to the sun, you definitely, could be getting some burns.
Yeah, because even if it's overcast, you don't realize how hot the sun is, and all of this water is just reflecting it back on you. So make sure that you have stuff to cover yourself with, and you are prepared to fight against sunburns. Well, if you're looking for a sunburn, here's the place to get it. Finally, we've discovered the answer to the question, why did the chicken cross the road?
Why?
To get away from the tourists. So we've reached the actual end of the Keys.
Yes.
As far as we can go legally.
We are at Key West. We just went over and touched the buoy.
We touched the buoy.
We're sitting out here.
Did you touch the butt?
On the little concrete piece. There's definitely some interesting characters walking around, like some of it is not suitable for YouTube.
Yeah.
So we can't show that.
Some strange bathing suit options.
So here's what I'm gonna say, is it worth it to come to the Keys? To me, it's gonna depend on why you're coming.
And who's in your party.
And who are you coming with. So I think, as this being my first time ever in the Keys, after living here for 25 years, you're a 7th generation Floridian, but
yes.
You don't really come down here very often.
No, I mean, the worst sunburns of our family's life have been purchased here in Key West. It's very expensive in actual Key West, right? You want to bring everything you own to Key West and not have to buy shirts and bathing suits and towels and stuff
right.
like that.
What I would say, it's worth it to come to the Keys, but it's not worth it to come to Key West. I think, my personal opinion, and I may be wrong, let us know down in the comment section, I think Key West is a tourist trap, especially if you're coming with children.
Yeah, so unless you just like going to different eclectic restaurants that are just fun and interesting, or you like paying a lot of money for t-shirts and booze,
yes,
then probably I would visit the other Keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are so many other areas. You don't have to come this far south. You don't need to drive another hour from, some of the other state parks. There's plenty of swimming up there. There's plenty of little hole-in-the-wall restaurants, because let's face it,
of seafood.
The best food is not going to be coming down here to Key West at all of the, restaurants. Like, they have an Outback Steakhouse. Who is driving to South Florida to go to Key West and then going to Outback Steakhouse? Or
right.
Benihana's.
Benihana's here.
Right, you need to go find the little local hole-in-the-wall places, because that's where you're going to find the best food. And I don't think you need to come to Key West to do it. I think you can stay up at Big Pine Key. You could go to Isla Mirada. You could go to Marathon. There are so many other areas. So overall, do I think you should come to the Keys? Yes, there's lots of, if you like the water. Now, if you don't like the water, don't bother coming to the Keys.
Right, because there's lots of water. But you might want to venture to some of the other ones that are going to have like the cute places to get shells and jewelry and things like that without so much crowding and higher prices.
And yeah, you won't have to worry about traffic and everything else getting down here to Key West, because you really can't drive around the roads. You're gonna have to park and either walk, or you can go rent a scooter or something like that.
And really watch the kids if you do decide to come down, just so that they can see the buoy. Very narrow streets, lots of traffic, and a lot of tourist traffic, which is super dangerous because everybody's looking around and not noticing, where they're at, not sure exactly where they're going. And so, you definitely want to watch your kids.
Yeah. Well, that is going to be our video for should you come to the Keys. Now let us know down in the comment section. Let us know, have you ever been to the Keys? Do you want to go to the Keys? Has this video changed your mind? Now please do us a favor, hit that like button down below, and also make sure you subscribe to our channel. It really helps our channel grow.
And don't forget to hit the little bell button, and that way every single time we go someplace new, you'll be alerted to it.
I'm ready to get out of the sun.
Happy camping!